he was someone who really did focus on children and young people. And I have a feeling that his words have will transcend generations. I mean, he's not a pope just for this moment and this time, which he was. But I have a feeling he's actually sort of like John Kennedy did for a generation of people who grew up and became public leaders and entered public life and work because of the inspiration of President Kennedy. I have a feeling that he's going to have a similar kind of impact on young people who will grow up with a vision, I think, of living faith that cares about the poor, that cares about the innocent, that cares about people who are victims often in the politics in the world in which we live, that care about the environment and this the creation that God has given us. All of those kinds of things that he lived out and preached about based on his understanding of the gospel of Jesus, the teachings of Jesus. Based on that, I think there's a generation that's going to follow along that's been impacted, as well as those of us who are like me. You're young, but I'm still old. But I have a feeling his impact is going to go much deeper than just in this present moment. This is a pope who's going to be remembered by a generation of young people.
What has our faith community lost with his passing?
Well, we've lost a good friend, and that's worth, as the old saying, all the tea in China. We've lost a good friend, but we've gained and will always have someone who is a reminder of what it means to be a human being, of compassion, of goodness, what it means to be a Christian for real, to be people who actually love like Jesus, and do justice like Jesus, and care about others like Jesus. And he reminded of us of that. And we're going to miss him. And he had a way. I mean, just thinking the last days of his life, he really did have a way of using his life. Like that old song, "This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine." He let his light shine. And even in the last days of his life, as he was clearly dying, and everybody kind of knew, we didn't know when, but you could tell. He let that light, his life reflect the very light and love of God. Oh my God, what a witness. What a witness. We're gonna miss him, but we will have him with us because some of the words that he wrote, the words that he spoke, but most importantly, the things that he did, washing the feet um, of people of different religions, of poor folk, of folk who lived on the streets without homes, of women, of men, of LGBTQ folk, all of us. I mean, those images are going to remain with us. That conversation on the airplane when he was relatively new and he was asked about, gay and lesbian folk in the church, and how should we treat them or what's wrong. I forgot what the question was. I just remember his answer. Who am I to judge?
Right out of the
That,
Bible.
huh?
Right out of the Bible.
Right out of the Bible. Who am I to judge? And it's just that's gonna last. That will last as long as time and human minds and human souls continue.
Over the years, did you have an opportunity to meet him in person and visit with him?
hmm Well, I had the opportunity to meet him, to be both in his presence in worship services, and actually be in a smaller gathering. I think the year was 2016 or 2017, um, uh, when I got to meet him and be in a smaller gathering and, got to shake his hand. But he met with those of us who were the heads of the various national churches that make up the Anglican Communion, churches that grew out of the Church of England, the Anglican Church, the Episcopal Church in this country would be the American version, if you will, of the Anglican tradition. And so the 42 heads, archbishops and presiding bishops and moderators, of the various national churches of the Anglican Communion with the Archbishop of Canterbury, met with him, I think it was 2016 or 17, and spent an entire morning with him. And we got to shake his hand and that kind of thing afterward, but we got to be and listen to him. And it was just what I remember more than the specific content of what he said was the spirit of this guy.